Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel, The Debt Free Quilter. I'm Heather, and today we're starting a new project. But before we do, I'd like to address something. It is October. There are two major things that go on in October. Halloween and spooky season, my favorite, and Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, I honestly do not own anything pink to wear, but to show my support for breast cancer research and survivors and everybody who's been touched by it, there will be something pink or purple in all of my videos that have been filmed or edited in the month of October. So let's get on with our new project, shall we? Ta-da! This is called the Night Sky quilt. It is by my dear friend Monique Jacobs. Sorry, I cannot talk. This is still a free Craftsy pattern, and I will explain very shortly how to get that pattern because it was featured on the Midnight Quilt Show with Angela Walters, and it is still available for free on Craftsy. What you have to do to get the pattern, though, you have to go to the Craftsy website. Ignore all the stuff about becoming a member if you are not one. It is honestly not worth it in my opinion, since they have changed hands again. Anyhow, you go to the Craftsy website, you ignore all the stuff about becoming a member, you hit the quilt option, and then you search for the Midnight Quilt Show. Now, this quilt was done in season 6. The pattern is still available there. You can get that and sew along with me, or get it for use in the future. It is completely up to you if you want to do this quilt. It is a beautiful quilt. It is a good way to learn to do half square triangles 2 at a time, which is what we're going to be focusing on for this project. And you can use some beautiful solids with this. Now, I got this as a kit when Blueprint was going out of business. So I am not using the boundless solids that came in the kit originally. I am going to be using Motabella solids in pink and purple to make this quilt this time, along with the leftover white boundless solid that I did get from the kit, because I did not make a full-size quilt, and I'm not going to make a full-size quilt this time either. I'm going to make about this big, so we'll wind up making, I think, 10 blocks, and one of them will wind up on the back, because that's what I did in the last one that I made. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing that we do is consult our pattern. And this pattern calls for, I think, 20 fat quarters. But I am only going to use 10. I am only going to use 10. So I'm going to set the patterns that came with these aside, and we're going to choose 10 between these two, because I believe there's only 10 in each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, there's 12 each, but we're still going to pick just 10, just the ones we feel most drawn to. And obviously I'm starting with the purple ones. One, two, three, four. 5. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Gonna set the rest of these aside because these can be used in another project, or hey, I can make another quilt if I so feel like it. And then of course we have our white solid over here. Okay, so let's get these pressed and then we'll work on then we will move to the cutting. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to pair up our fat quarters. And what I am going, there are several ways you can do this. You can pair them purple and purple, pink and pink. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the lightest purple and pair it with the darkest pink until I get to the darkest purple, and we'll have them alternating. But once we get these paired, they need to stay paired, because then I can cut them both at the same time and all my pieces will be together, and that makes it way easier later on, because then I know I'm not missing anything. Alright, next step, cutting. Okay, according to our pattern here, we are going to cut 2 5-inch strips, 1 3-inch strip, and 1 2.5-inch strip, and we'll subcut from there. So I pulled out my 8.5-inch ruler. I have my selvages down here pointing toward me, and I'm lining this up a little bit bigger than 5 inches for this first one, because I want to make sure I get a straight line over here. but by overcutting it, I can flip this strip over and cut off that and get a good edge on it. One more thing. Grab a weight. Make sure my ruler's not going to be moving on me. And here we go. And it moved anyway. Of course it did. So that's my fault. Oh well. Hey, I have more fat quarters if I absolutely need them. But I think that's going to hide. Yeah, that'll hide in the seam allowance, and I'm not going to worry about it. I will be a little bit more careful from now on, though. So there's one. And now I can line up 5 inches down here at the bottom. It's going to be a little off at the top, but I can flip that around and take care of that, so that's not a big deal. I've told y'all guys before, I am not perfect, and I am not trying to be. Now we're going to flip this around and fix that edge. Line that up right there. Line up my 5 inches. And cut this little bit right here off. There's those. Now it said I need a 3-inch. And I did talk to Monique before I decided to do this, because this is her pattern, whether or not Craftsy has the rights to it or not. There's the 3 inches. And now we need a 2.5 inch. That leaves me with a little bit left over here. Alright, let's see. I'll put 5 inches up there, 3 inches over here, 2.5 right there. That leaves me enough room. Okay, once again, I'm gonna overcut on this side a little bit, because I want this to be able to be cut off. I want to be able to flip it around. I want my ruler to be straight. And here we go. my 5-inch line. Cut off that excess. And line up my next cut. And move them both. Next one. Three inches. Two and a half. All right, I think we got it now. Let's speed this up a little bit. And there's all our fat quarters. Next, we are going to cut the background. All right. Now to correspond with my cutting over there, since I'm only making half the blocks, I'm only using half the background. So with where the pattern calls for 10 5-inch cuts, I'm only going to make 5. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did before with overcutting this first one a little bit and then cutting off the excess when I get a little more room. There's one. Now the next one says I need 5 strips. I'm going to go ahead and cut 3. I'm going to overcut this because, as you can see, I apparently did not fold this very well. And we still have plenty left over here. Okay. So after that, it is time for me to take a break, and we'll come back and subcut this in just a little bit. Okay, let's get back to our cutting. We're going to start with our background, and we're going to cut 40 5-inch squares. So what I've done here is I've cut a little excess. If I turn this around, it will help me. So I've stacked these 2 deep. And I cut so I get 4 instead of 2. So since I'm getting 4, we've got 4, 8, 12, 16 out of 2. We're going to continue that trend. Now Now remember, I never claimed to be perfect over here. I'm making sure that I leave some room between my 5-inch line and my selvage. Okay. Our next one is going to be our 4.5-inch strips, of which we only cut 3. Because we only need half the number it tells us in the pattern. And as you can see, this is not straight. But that's okay. And I'll show you why it's okay here in just a second. So I'm just going to take it and chop it in half. And then I do have 2 straight pieces. Okay, now we need 44.5 by 2.5-inch pieces. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to overcut for the selvage again. And that should be 42. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, and 42. So we do not need 2 of these, which gives us our 40. Now I'm just stacking my extra pieces up off over here to the side. And then on our last one, we need 42.5-inch squares. So once again, I'm just going to stack these up. Probably cut them in the middle again. Definitely cut them in the middle again. Right there. These are 2.5-inch squares. $36. And that is going to make 40. And something tells me, oh yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit more work to these, so I'm going to come back when I'm finished with that. Alright, let's get back to our fun cutting as opposed to our making sure everything is the right size. Okay, so these we cut 8 5-inch squares from our 5-inch strips. So I'm going to line this up a little over because down here we have the selvage. I will cut that bit off in just a minute. There's 2. 4. 6. 8 with a little bit left over. Now I'm going to take this set and I'm going to cut my selvage off. And there's our 8. So we're going to do that for each color set. Okay, there's our 5-inch squares. Okay, this one says we need 3-inch squares. And last but not least, our 2.5 inchers. Okay. We have all our squares cut up, all our extra stuff set off to the side. Okay. Got all our squares cut. That's where we're going to leave it for today. When we come back next time, we will mark our squares and make some half square triangles. So we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching.